Hello everyone, welcome to Quincy Art Center's 2020 Virtual Art Fest. We are so excited to bring you along on our journey today. We're going to visit local art studios, learn from regional artists, see how art impacts our community partners, and get a behind-the-scenes look at the Quincy Art Center. I'm Drew Quintero, your host for today's activities, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. Generous sponsorship for Fall 2020 exhibitions, educational programs, and Virtual Art Fest is provided by Knapheide, Quincy Medical Group, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, Tim and Trish Laffey, Katie Ambler, Bruce and Lori Kruse, Kevin and Krista Rankin, Spencer and Katie Schelp, Mark and Kate Schuering, United Systems Incorporated, Winters LLP, Mandar and Laura Dighe, Dr. Joseph and Denette Kuhlman, Dr. Kurt and Janice Leimbach, Dr. Linda Moore, Nagel, Alan and Alison Shafer, Carol and Victoria Burns, Roger D. Leach, Joe and Janet Conover. Grant support was provided by Tracy Family Foundation, Arts Alliance Illinois, Illinois Arts Council Agency, Gardner Denver Education Fund through the Community Foundation serving West Central Illinois and Northeast Missouri, the Michelmann Foundation, Quincy Noon Kiwanis, Gem City Breakfast Kiwanis, and Adams Electric Cooperative Kenny Power. First up, we'll hear from our friends at the District. They're going to take us on a tour of public art in the heart of Quincy.
You may know the District from iconic events such as Blues in the District, Light the Park, Chris Kindle Market, our Feast Community Dinner, Trick or Treat, our various Shop Local Saturdays throughout the year, and our Progressive Dinner. Hi everybody, I'm Sarah Dieters. I'm the Director of Programming and Marketing here at the District, and come along with me, we're going to go look at some downtown art. On the corner of 4th and Hampshire, across from Washington Park, is a mural by Jeffrey Bruce, who was assisted by Zachary Meyer, and it's titled In the Evening Air. It was a project of the City of Quincy's Public Art Commission, and you'll notice it contains an imagery of flowers and trees that are actually native to Quincy and to Illinois. The next mural that we have on Washington Square is titled Focus at 115 North 4th Street. It was painted in 2013. It was painted by Jennifer Bach Nelson, and her idea when she painted it was through her series called Drive, and she describes it as being in a car and driving by with the natural light and then the artificial lights that come in through the street lights and cars and signs. It was a result of a committee of dedicated people intent on creating murals and public art projects in downtown Quincy. A committee chaired by the Midsummer Arts Fair, which has now been expanded to Q-Fest, with the District and with the Quincy Art Center. You'll notice our planter boxes around the District in downtown Quincy. So this was a beautification project commissioned in 2016, and it was a joint effort through the District, the Quincy Art Center, Q-Fest, and Grediff. And so there were 52 planters painted by local volunteer artists. Every planter was left to the artist to put their own touch on, but you will notice that they usually incorporate the District's logo or the Right on Cue logo. As you'll see over at Quincy Brewing Company, which is on the 6th Street Promenade here in the District, there is a mural that was painted by J.C. Womack. And she is a local artist here in Quincy, and the owners of Quincy Brewing Company knew and wanted to celebrate local artists as well as public art for anyone to enjoy, and they recognized, as we all do and hope to promote, that public art just creates a sense of community and a warm space to spend time and enjoy.
It is so exciting to see such inviting art all over Quincy's downtown. Our next segment features our friend Kelsey Celek. Kelsey will be demonstrating how to make a special project. Now, if you don't have all the materials you need to create along with Kelsey right now, don't worry. All of our videos will be available after ArtFest on the Quincy Art Center website, quincyartcenter.org.
Hello, friends of the Quincy Art Center. Glad to see you all online today. My name is Kelsey Celek, and today we're gonna make some shadow puppets. Puppets are one of my favorite art forms. I think they are a great combination of visual art and performing art. They let us tell a story in a way that we can't always do with just our bodies and our voices. Shadow puppets are especially cool because they're one of the oldest forms of puppetry in the whole world. So here are the things that you're gonna need to make your shadow puppet. Choose what animal I would like to make a shadow puppet of today. I've got some on the wall behind me. There are lots of super cool animals, and all of these guys behind me all move in different ways. And that's an important thing to think about because we're gonna have to figure out how to make these animals move. I think today I'm gonna make a giraffe, but you are welcome to make whatever animal you wanna make at home. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are creating a silhouette of your animal from the side. So if you just had an outline of me right now, you would miss out on a lot of details of being able to see like my glasses or my nose or a lot of the things that help me look like me. But if I'm looking at the side and instead you're making this shape, that's going to tell you a lot more details about who I am and what I look like. That's all you get in shadow puppetry is that outline. So it's a really important distinction to make. So I'm going to take a look at the giraffe from the side. Now, here's the part where it gets tricky because I think of myself as a person who is not very good at drawing. Does anybody else feel that way? I know, that's a weird thing to say at an art fest, but that's how we feel. If you're a person who feels that way, don't worry. You can still make a shadow puppet. Here's how I do it, even though I don't feel like I am great at drawing. I start my animal by using all different shapes, and then I try to put those shapes together. So to start with my giraffe, I'm just gonna make a big oval, and I'm gonna start a rectangle to be the neck. I'm gonna do another oval for the head. And from there, I'm gonna start to add some lines and draw things in to make it feel more like a giraffe. If at this point you want to get out your phone and you want to look at a picture of a real version of your animal, if that helps you, that's great. So like here, I'm just gonna draw one ear for the giraffe. Okay, I'm gonna try there. There I go. I'm not going to draw the legs of my giraffe. I'm just going to show it from the chest up, but you are welcome to have the complete body of your animal if that is what you would like. Now you might notice on my giraffe, I have a lot of weird lines so far. Not filling it up very much. And also, I left out details like its face. Like I didn't draw eyes or a mouth. I didn't draw any of the spots that a giraffe has. That's for a reason. We're not gonna see those when we are doing a full shadow puppet. And so that means I can draw them if I want, but they're not gonna show up. Think about the way that it moves. So I really want to focus on how the neck moves, and I think it's really cool how giraffes are able to stretch really high and eat off the trees, and I definitely want to be able to show that when I make my puppet move. So I'm going to try to think about it in pieces. How am I going to put pieces together in my puppet? Now, if I was going to do this of my arm, if this was the shape I was trying to make, you can even see a little bit of the shadow behind me here. If I was going to try to move that way, the way I'm moving my arm right now, I think I could get 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3, to make the kind of movement for a giraffe that I would like to make. So I'm going to put that into my drawing. I think this needs to be a piece. I think I need a piece right here, and you know what? Because giraffes move around so much, I think I'm going to make this 2, so I can have one be a little bit bigger. And then the 4th piece will be the body. I'm going to make a little dot to show where I think all those pieces are going to connect. Excellent. So this has helped me plan out so much that I know I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of my puppet. Different pieces just gonna look like potatoes to me, but I promise eventually it's gonna look like a giraffe. I am gonna take my pencil and I'm gonna make a little dot where I want these things to connect, and that's gonna help me find stuff later. Now remember that you're gonna poke a hole where these dots are, so if I get it like super close to the edge, that wouldn't work. It would fall right out. So I want to make sure that there's like some decent space surrounding each place where I put a dot. So now here's the part where I'm going to get out my breads. If you've never used these before, you were probably born after 1999. I'm going to hold them together to make just one hole. I'm going to put my bread all the way through both pieces, and then I turn it over and I fold it flat. And then I can move it like a little giraffe head. And then I'm gonna repeat that for all of the spots where I made those holes. So once you have all your pieces assembled, move it around a little bit the way you want it to move. And if you notice like any weird shapes or any weird angles that you think maybe wouldn't happen that way in real life, now is a really good time to get out your scissors, trim them up. The other thing to check is to take a look at the holes that you made and see if you can see through it. If you can see light through it, that means you'll see light through it when you're using it as a puppet. So if you got a hole that's too big, don't worry about it. Take your tape, cover some of it up, you're fine. Next, we're ready for the skewers. This is the part that we're gonna hold on to. And just for safety's sake, young artists, if you need an adult to do this for you, that is okay. I am gonna take the tip, which if I was using this as a skewer, this is the part that I would like put into my food. I'm gonna take the tip and I'm just gonna cut it off. So I'm gonna put on one of my pieces of tape that I got ready, and I'm gonna put it on about halfway, just like that. And then I'm gonna fold the half that's not on the rod, I'm gonna fold it back. Put it straight up on that piece of my puppet, and then I'm gonna push the other part of my tape down flat. So I've got that really solid 90-degree angle. And then I'm gonna take my second piece of tape and I'm gonna put it right along that same spot and then down flat onto my puppet. I'm then gonna take, I've got some extra on the front here, and so I'm gonna take that little bit of extra that I have, and I'm gonna fold it over onto the front. It's okay that you will be able to see it on the nose of the giraffe, but sometimes, depending on how it folds, you might need to take your scissors and trim a little bit so that you don't change the shape that you make. When you're thinking about where to put them, think about the places that you want to focus on, because you don't need a rod for each and every piece, because if you think about it, these 3 pieces all move together because it's all just part of one neck. So, but what we watch is we watch the head and we watch the body. So that's where I'm going to put both pieces on my giraffe. So that's what you can think about. That also means that I can have one in each hand, one rod in each hand when I'm using my puppet. So once again, I put it on about halfway. I fold the rest back. I stand it up straight. Put it on. And I let the other piece come down in front. When I hold up both rods, that means, oh, my giraffe is ready to go. This is very exciting. So now it's time to put that giraffe to work. When you are ready for a puppet stage, you've got so many choices that you can do. You can take a flashlight and just shine it on the wall. You can hang up a bed sheet and you can shine the light onto that. I'm going to use a smaller puppet stage so that I can show you guys today. Here's what mine looks like, and all it's made out of is it's made out of cardboard, and then this part in the middle is a plastic tablecloth. But yours doesn't have to look like this. There are lots of ways you can use it just with stuff you have lying around. Okay, so first I'm going to show you what it looks like behind the scenes, okay? So if my audience is sitting over here, that means I'm going to have my light source back here behind my stage. This is what it looks like from the back. Now I'm going to take my puppet and I'm going to hold one rod in each hand and I'm going to put it up flat. Now I'm going to watch the bottom of my screen because since I didn't put legs on my giraffe, I don't want the audience to see that part. So I'm going to keep mine pretty low. But I'm going to keep it right up flat. And then when I twist my fingers, the fingers that I have one rod in, you can see that's making the giraffe nod a lot right now. And that is how I can make it move around. And that's how it works. Lots of different options in terms of animals you can make or what materials you use. The important part is using your own imagination to see what you can create. If you like creating and you like making cool stuff, consider hanging out with your friends at the Quincy Art Center. They do lots of great classes and other ways to learn. And if you're watching this for ArtFest, think about donating a few dollars their way. They do great stuff. They will take your money and do a lot of good in the community. So make that happen. Have fun.
Whoa! I thought that giraffe was really in the room with us. I hope you were inspired to make your own shadow puppet. If you do make your own creation, remember to share it on social media and tag @Quincy Art Center so we can see your masterpieces too. Up next, we have an exciting new arts academy in town. The Beat Arts Academy opened in February of this year under the leadership of Sean Jones. We visited their studio to hear from Sean and the students about the importance of art in our community. We are so thankful to have this new studio in town and cannot wait to share it with you.
My name is Sean Jones. I am the owner of the Beat Arts Academy. I got the idea last year. I said, open up a dance studio, and I opened my doors on February 3rd. We did not have a floor. We had it was just concrete in here. And my OG dancers, they remember that. You know, it was hard, coming home And this group has been with me that long, and as we've grown a little bit since then. But as everybody knows, 6 weeks after the start of February, we got closed down with COVID around March 14th, around the middle of March. And so we got closed down, so I was only open for 6 weeks, and I'm just like, oh. After COVID happened for about 3 months, I called a couple of parents. The kids have not been in school, and I was like, what can I do? Because the parade, the St. Patrick's Day parade was going to be here we are, Quincy, who are these kids, We had our banner that's out in front. We had everything prepared, and we got shut down like the day before the parade. So it was devastating to them. It was devastating to me. So I had to pick a course of action on how to get my name back out there. And so I knew how talented my kids were. I can get them together. We can come and, make sure everybody's safe and sneak dance rehearsals in. I'll call it beatnik rehearsal. and I'll get them, in here and just dancing. I had to dance, and I just taught them dances. And I asked them, I said, well, let's go out and do flash mobs. I'm a theater kid. I know what a flash, so I'm like, using any avenue that we can. So the flash mob thing we picked today, it was hot. It was so hot. But we went out there. We jumped out on 24th, on 18th and Broadway, at Walmart. And we just jumped out and started dancing. We had a big old stereo, and people were just like, oh, videotaping us. And so it was things like that I had to do to get us recognized. And we, Avion, he did a video for us, and we did it. I, put the markings on the floor like they do in theater. Like, this is where you stand, dance there, do not move. And it made them look so crisp and so clean in the video, and they were so proud of themselves. And I showed them how great that they looked for them to be new dancers. And I put the video out there, and we just started doing more videos, and people have, started paying attention, kind of, like, okay, he's here, he has these kids, and these kids are good. So the kids are the community, that's what the community means. I mean, to me, it means them. It means all of us in general, but community is the longevity and the preservation of the youth. That's the only way the community is going to be left standing, is if we instill our values into them, the youth. So that's what community means to me, is making sure that our youth are together, that we are equipping them with the right tools to continue on, the fight that we've all been fighting, the good fight. I was a dance instructor here in Quincy, probably, I would say, going back 12 years. So I was away from teaching for a good 8 years, and I realized that I was in demand. People were asking, are you still teaching? My kids, kids that I did teach, they have kids now, 12 years ago, So people were asking me, I have a kid now, I would love you to teach, And so it just let me know that the gifts, the God-given talent that God gave me, that I was just sitting there and not using whatsoever at all. There's kids that need that knowledge. It wasn't specifically for the kids of color, more so to be inclusive in the arts, have the arts be inclusive to everybody, not just, not only the white kids. That's what inspired me. The need for inclusivity in the arts here in Quincy. And I just wanted to be a vessel for that. I just wanted to be like, that's what I have. That's the only thing that I have that I can give is to them. And just like, do this, do that. No, you're doing it wrong. Have your back straight. That's all I can give them. The discipline, the self-confidence, all of the good things that come with it, So art is a way of softening that blow of the reality of the world. You can see a play, a movie that will show you something that you don't necessarily have to experience in your real life. Or in being involved in a play, it teaches you that, that sense of awareness of what this character is going through. So it transports you out of a kid to try to put yourself in a written situation. So if you can learn that as a kid, it's vital that that kid is trained to understand, what the page is saying and how to emote that, So they have to have some kind of awareness. And that's just special, and it's very important. Dance is important for arts, creative writing, drawing, just anything involving arts is just creative, is great for child development. And it's important. It works the other side of the brain, problem solving, critical thinking, It gives you all those things. So I think that's what's, why it's important to be integrated in kids' development and their education. I'm excited to show what my kids are capable of doing. Most of these kids, this is their first dance class. We have a couple of kids that have had prior dance training, but for the most part, this is their first, and they have surprised me to the point where it's me, not tooting my horn, but like, I'm like, geez, these kids have had no training, and they're a lively group, but they're still able to focus in and incorporate what the instruction that I'm giving them, even though they've had no dance experience. We go from ballet to jazz to modern, I'll throw it all at them, and they absorb it and like sponges, and they learn so quickly, and it just gives you so much like, oh my God, this is it, this is the reason why, it was for them, it shows you dead in your face like they've been yearning, they've been needing this, they've been wanting this, they've been waiting and ready, like who's gonna, it just happens to be me, and I see how it actually is shaping their minds, their development, the way they move, so I'm just like, it's a blessing, it's really a blessing. I learned a lot from them because when I was their age, that's when I started dancing, when I was about 9, 10, 11. That's when I got into my first dance class. And I'm able to keep myself in that memory of like how things were when I was a kid, and being able to see now, because I'm dealing with kids on a daily, that I'm kind of in their world now. When they come in with residual gunk off of them from the world, whether it's school, whether they done seen something on the internet or whatever, they come in here with that, they have to shed it, and I have to deal with it too. That's why they're here, so they can give their art, their creativity, their imagination, let that run free, and that is going to be therapy and make them feel better. I have to be open and realize that it's not the same way it was when I was a kid. Everything is so much more sensitive, and I have to be aware of that because they take things differently. There's cyberbullying. We didn't have the internet when I was a kid. You have, so much that they have to deal with. We're located 526 South 9th Street. Register at thebeatartsacademy.org, and you can go to the contact us box and leave your information. We're still here, and we're still thriving to have my kids, and we're preparing for our December. I don't want to call it a recital. Yeah, a showcase, a showcasing, a gala.
How inspiring. We can't wait to see how the Beat Arts Academy continues to grow. The Art Center has a long history of providing access to visual fine arts for Quincy and surrounding areas. We're going to take a closer look at one of the exhibits currently on display. But first, a quick word from our wonderful sponsors at Quincy Medical Group.
Your passion requires strength.
Come on, boys!
To provide for those who you love. To bring you joy.
Okay, guys, where you at? Come on, get up here, let's go.
To be independent. Quincy Medical Group Orthopedics and Sports Medicine knows your passion is your strength.
You're looking good. Look, come on, girls!
That's why your strength is our passion.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Teeter, Executive Director and Curator at the Quincy Art Center, and I'm in our beautiful Stevenson Gallery with Exquisite Miniatures by Wes and Rochelle Segrist. Thanks to Knapheide, Quincy Medical Group, and Blue Cross Blue Shield for sponsoring this beautiful exhibit. Let's take a closer look, shall we? There are 65 miniatures in the exhibit, and most of them are under 7 inches. This one in particular is by Rochelle Segrist, and it's called Birds and Art, and I was really intrigued by this one. This is a house sparrow that she saw on the motif of the state capitol in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And so she had seen this little bird sitting in the relief here, and then there's birds in the relief. And so she felt that this was really inspiring and snapped a photo of it and also had her memory. And then when she was back in the studio, she painted this lovely tiny little painting. Now they use 4x to 6x magnification on these, and we have 10x magnifiers here at the Art Center, and you can also bring in your own magnifying glass to look closer. So I always have a favorite in every exhibit, and sometimes it changes throughout the exhibit. I have different favorites. But this one right now is my favorite in the exhibit. And it's standing room only by Wes Segrist. And it has all these tiny, tiny little birds all lined up on the power line. And then there's this one flying in looking for his spot of where he can find his spot where he can sit on the power line as well. And there's even birds up here on the lights. I haven't counted how many birds are exactly in this painting, but there's quite a few. And also, I want to point out the signatures on each of these paintings. I really have to get the magnifying glass out to see their signatures, and it's perfect every time. It's really amazing. So this little piece was inspired by a local area for them. They live in Townsend, Tennessee, and these are local cascades. And here is Wes right here, and he's in the photo. He's taking a photograph and getting inspiration, and Rochelle was taking a photograph of Wes taking a photograph, getting inspiration. And so they went back to the studio and were looking through their photographs of their day adventure out at the Cascades, and Wes decided to do a self-portrait of himself, gaining inspiration from the Cascade. Like many artists, the Segrists get inspiration from other artists. And in this piece, admiring Snyder's still life with dead game, we see Rochelle, who's actually the artist of this painting, in a gallery looking at another artist's work and getting inspiration from their work. And actually, Rochelle and Wes are historians of miniature art, and they've written books, and they're part of many societies of miniature art and others that they are experts in their field. And so I really like this piece of how I'm in the gallery now, and I'm looking at Rochelle in a gallery looking at a painting. I really love the play that is with this little piece. So there's so many different subject matters covered in this exhibit. But again, I'm going to go back to those birds. I have my favorites. And so this one is a piece by Wes that they were on a trip in Mexico, and it's these pigeons on the top of this building. And then again, there's that one that's just in flight, ready to put himself right next to his little buddies there. And I love how they're all lined up, and then they've got these wonderful patterns of the building in there, and then also this beautiful blue sky in here contrasting with that detail of the building in white. It's wonderful. So this piece is painted by both artists. They do this of painting, they trade the painting off for a couple hours each. And then, so this is both by Wes and Rochelle, and so you can actually see that in the tiny, tiny little signature they have. But this is called Ocean Compliments, and I love what they wrote about this piece. They say, we try to do a couple paintings each year together. Our tandem treasures are fun and challenging at the same time. It's nice to not have to spend hours working on part of a painting, but it's a delicate balance when you may not agree with what the other artist did. More so when it's your spouse sitting right next to you. Rochelle loves to take it in stride. When asked what she does, if Wes paints something she doesn't like, she simply replies, "I'll fix it." Quincy Art Center is a 501c nonprofit, and what that means is that we rely on donations, foundations, and grants to bring all the programs that we have to our community. So if you are interested in supporting any kind of exhibit or educational program at the Quincy Art Center, we would love your support. And please go to quincyartcenter.org and click the donate button.
Thanks, Jen, for that great look into the Exquisite Miniatures exhibit by Wes and Rochelle Segrist. The exhibit will be on display at the Art Center now through November 4th. Up next, we're heading into the home of local artist and art center instructor Sarah Little. Sarah's going to show us her self-made loom and how she is creating her own material.
I've been doing fiber art for a few years now, mostly a lot of tie-dye, but now I've gotten into weaving because I had a lot of fibers that I dyed and I needed something to do with them, so I came up with this weaving loom. This is based on a traditional, it's called a warp-weighted loom. So the way it works is the warp threads, which run up and down, are held tension. The tension is held by weights that hang at the end, and the extra thread is wrapped around the weights, so you can make your weavings as long as you want. There's no reed. The weights are the reed. And they swing around. They kind of have a mind of their own, and this whole thing has a mind of its own. I was fiddling around with it, trying to get it to work, and I was like, oh, it's just gonna do what it wants. The way I've got it set up is I've got kind of this thing as my header, but if I wanted to, I could take some of this extra stuff off of here and make it as wide as the loom would allow. And the way it works is through the tension on the weights, and you take this, it's called a heddle bar, and what you do is you take the heddle bar and these are the heddle strings, and you open up the shed, and these are the back warps. The back warps are the ones on the heddle bar, and the front warps are going to be here. So this is a counter shed. It's got the heddle there, and then it's unheddled, heddled, unheddled, heddled, unheddled, and it just goes every other one. And I've got them weighted in twos as well, so there's 2 warp strings per weight, front and back. So it's separated, 2 back strings with a weight and 2 front strings with a weight. But each one is individual as far as the heddles goes. Get that secured into place there on the heddle support. And you take your string that you're weaving with and you go through the shed here. And you want it to give the weaving some room, so you go down at a diagonal and then you come up and at like a curve there, make a nice gentle curve, and you make the curve so that it doesn't get squished in as you're going down. And they've been able to notice that some weavings that they've found throughout history have been made with the warp weighted looms, because at the ends it actually juts out a little bit because of the way the warp is spread out with the weights. It's a really interesting way to weave, because with most weaving looms today you're pushing the weft down. Instead, with the warp weighted loom, you actually go up. So you'll take something which they call a sword or a beater, and you beat the weft up. Now this is a weft facing design here, because the weft is thinner than the warp, so you kind of push it way up close to each other so you don't really see the weft. So you gotta beat it in there quite a bit, but once you get it in there, it looks really pretty. And you just keep doing that until you get yourself where you want, however long you want. It's enjoyable. It's all been very satisfying, from building it to getting it to work, to using it. It's been a huge brain exercise for me to figure it all out on my own, and making it out of spare parts has been really satisfying.
Isn't it amazing what you can create from items you might already have around your house? Any object can become extraordinary with a little creative thinking. Now we're going to move our bodies with our friend Jan Barrett from Redbud Yoga. Kids, make sure to tell your parents this next video is just for you. Adults, if you want to practice yoga with Jan, please remember to slow down the moves. We don't want anyone to hurt themselves today.
Hello, I'm Jan Barrett from Redbud Yoga, and always before I teach a yoga class, ever since we've been all at home a whole lot lately. I've had this friend with me, and remember, my name is Barrett, and his name is Barrett, and he helps me bear anything that I need to bear in my life. So he's always with me in yoga. And today we're going to visit nature, because that's what we would be doing if we were out in the art center grounds doing this festival out in person. We'd be with Mother Earth more than maybe we are with a screen. And so we're going to do some honoring of different parts of Mother Earth. And Mother Earth stays alive because of the sun. And so the first thing we need to do is salute the center of our universe, which is the sun. And I'm going to turn sideways. You don't have to, but I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. This is a series of poses that all run together, and it's kind of fun, or you can decide if it's fun. So you're going to face the screen and stand straight. This is mountain pose. Prayer pose. Hands up, hands down. Get ready. Hop back. Down dog. Belly forward. Up dog. Belly back. Down dog. Bend your knees. Hop forward. Head down. Arms up. Hands prayer. Hands down. We're doing 2 more. Hands prayer. Hands up. Hands down. Leap back, or you can step back, is fine. Down dog. Up dog. Down dog. Bend your knees. Leap forward. Head down. Hands up. Hands prayer. Hands down. Hands prayer. Hands up. Hands down. Leap back or step. Down dog. Up dog. Down dog. Bend knees. Leap forward. Head down. Hands up. Hands prayer. Hands down. Who else is there? Up in the sky. At night, the stars are there. So we're going to make a star. You can take your feet apart like this, or you can take your feet apart like that. You decide. Reach your arms. If you lift them a little, you'll be a 5-pointed star. Press your feet down. Reach your fingers, be long, be a big, tall star. And then set your hands to your hips. Step or jump your feet back together. And get ready, because also in the night sky, there is a moon. Our planet just has one. So we're going to honor the moon. Take your feet apart, sideways straight, right foot turns out, turn your left heel a little, reach over and just touch your knee or shin. Turn your chest towards your screen, bend your knee, step your back foot forward, put your right hand on the ground outside your foot, back leg straight, front leg straight. If it won't straighten, it's okay, but get the back leg straight. If you can, get the front leg straight. This is half moon pose. And we have to do the math here. We want a full moon. So bend the knee, reach way back, land and get your other knee straight. Up you come. So we have to do the other side. So we've had full moon. Turn your feet the other way. Right heel out, left toes out. Touch your knee or shin, left knee bends, slide your back foot really forward, your hand forward, straighten your back leg, then your front leg if you can. If not, it's okay, it can stay bent, but get that back leg straight. Reach it, reach your right arm up, bend the knee, reach way back and land, straighten the front knee, and up you come. Forward feet. Step or jump, feet back together. This is mountain pose. It's our core standing pose in yoga. And I need to warn you, sometimes I burst into Sanskrit word. When I'm saying the name of a pose, this is Tadasana. mountain poses. So if you hear some word that's unfamiliar, it's just the teacher acting like a yoga teacher, forgetting to speak English. So it's the name of a pose. And the next pose we're going to do is tree pose, because on the mountain and out in the park, if we were there, there would be trees. So root your feet like the roots of the tree. Go very deeply. Lift the right heel. Use your right hand and put your foot up as high as you can. And then quick reach the arms. Turn the palms up and reach the arms up. Reach up. Be a very tall tree. Way up. Be tall. And you stay tall when you bring your arms back down. Bring your foot down. So one of the clues for balancing is where you gaze. So gaze above your screen, straight ahead, and keep your eyes steady there when you lift your left heel. Put your left foot, toes point down, reach the arms sideways straight, steady gaze. Palms up, arms up. Be very tall, be a tall tree. And the wind is blowing near me, because you see how I'm able to move but still stay rooted to the ground. Reach the arms sideways, foot on the ground. And you know how the wind, it makes swirly sounds. It makes leaves swirl. And there's this pose that we're going to do in a minute that reminds me of the wind, although it isn't called wind pose. I'm going to turn sideways again. Well, I'll turn the other way for variety. You can stay facing your screen. The next pose we're doing is called fierce pose, because in nature sometimes we see fierceness. We see the wind we see the effect of the wind being fierce. Sometimes the wind howls. Sometimes snow just blows and blows, or the rain just patters down hard. There's a lot of fierceness in nature sometimes. Sometimes parents are fierce. They don't want you to hurt yourself. They're fierce when you get too close to the stove, for instance. Get away from there. All right, enough talk. Arms up. Bend your knees. This is fierce pose. Go lower. Don't go to the ground. It's like a chair. You're sitting in an invisible chair. Straighten your knees. Bend your knees. Up, down, up, down, up. Now, you're going to need those for the swirly pose. That bent knee. Reach your arms sideways straight. Bring your right arm in, left arm in. Set your elbows on top of each other. Wrap your arms around. Here's the swirly wind. Bend the knees. Wrap your right leg over your left. This happens to be eagle pose, which is also up in the sky. Look straight ahead, which you can't. Your arms are in the way. Look straight ahead. Squeeze your thighs. Squeeze your arms. Unwind the arms and legs. Let your gaze again be straight ahead. Bend all your knees. No, let's do the arms first. Reach the arms. Left arm in, right arm in. Wrap your hands. All knees bend more. Wrap the hands and the leg. Squeeze the thighs. Reach your fingers up. Unwind your arms. Unwind your legs. Have a couple of breaths here. Your teacher needs those too. Talking and being an eagle at the same time is asking a lot. So there are lots of animals in our yoga world. One of them is cows. This is very different from the eagle, the cow. And I want you to think about, if you've ever seen a cow close up or even a picture, they have big, brown, very quiet eyes. So we're going to think about those. The big, brown, quiet eyes. Yours can be any color you want, but let them be big and quiet. Reach your right arm up. Lift way up. Be tall. Bend the elbow. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Reach the other arm back and catch your hand. And if you can't, just catch your shirt and tug on your shirt or your hand. Point your right elbow up. Squeeze your left elbow in. And those eyes, let them be very quiet. Unwind the arms. Left arm up. Way up. Bend the elbow. Right arm way behind you. Catch your shirt or your hand if you can. Press the left elbow up, squeeze the right elbow in. Cow face pose. Do you have your face squeezed? Unsqueeze your face. Unwind your arms. And let's go to the ground. Because who lives very close to the ground in nature? Lots of critters, including cobra. Snake pose. Cobra pose is snake. Put your thumb under your collarbones. Crawl your feet back beyond your toenails. Press your hands down and squeeze your hands back towards you. Look up and come back down again. Feet long again. Press down and squeeze your hands towards you, towards your elbows. Lift the chest. Come back down. That's probably enough snake pose. Let's do camel. It has occurred to me, camels have 2 humps. So we're going to do this twice, once for each hump on the camel. Come to your knees. Get your knees under your hips. Spread your toes. You saw my chest go up if you were watching carefully. Spread the toes. Put your hands on your hips. Press your thumbs down. Lift up. Lift your chest. Lay your head back a little. This is a little bit of Ustrasana, camel pose. Up comes your head and your chest. Press your toes down. Spread your toes. Press your thumbs down. This time go underneath the pelvis with your thumbs. Press your thumbs. Press them. Sneak, quick, quick. Sneak down to your heels. Press your heels. Up you come. Put your knees together, your feet together, and sit on your heels. This is Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. And after the storm, there's always some quiet. The storm can make a lot of noise, but we know the storm will end. So take your knees apart a little bit and just bend forward here. Reach your arms forward for a little bit and then bring them beside you. And it's a little bit like child pose, like a little baby. Curls up and let your shoulders be heavy. Let your head be heavy. Let your hair be droopy. This is a version of child pose. It helps your mind kind of be less stormy. Sometimes the mind can get stormy, can't it? This helps the mind be less stormy if you can stay in the pose for a little while. Notice your breathing. Notice you're even breathing across your back. Your back, your lungs are back there. Across your back. Put your hands beside you. Lift your head. Roll over and lie down. We always end in yoga class, at least in my classes, we end up laying on the ground. I could try to stay on the mat, but it's not necessary. And just lay down with your hands palms up. If you wear glasses, put them on your tummy. No one will bother them there. And rest. Knowing the sun will keep shining on you. And you can imagine that the sun is in your tummy and its rays spread through all your body, up through your chest and into your ears and your head, through your arms and hands, and down through your pelvis and your legs, all the way to your toes. That light, that life-giving energy spread through you as you rest your body on the ground. Bring your hands to your pelvis or abdomen now, or to your tummy, and just notice your breath there. There it is. It's still there. It's always there for you, like the sun. Very quietly now, let your eyelids open and bend your knees. If you wear glasses, just catch a hold of them and roll over to your right side. Stay on your side and then come up. And once you're up, you put your glasses on, cross your legs, sit straight, and bring your hands to your chest for prayer pose. Bow your head to all the animals, all the people in your life, everything that sustains you, helps you stay alive. And then raise the chin. Namaste. Namaste, by the way, means the light in me greets the light in you. Namaste. Yeah. Thank you all for playing with me.
Oh, wow. Wasn't that fun? It's always so rewarding to get up, stretch your body, and move around throughout the day to get those creative juices flowing. What was your favorite move? That was a great one.